Hotels, flights, gadgets, what do they have in common? They all have dedicated comparison platforms. But do you know that you can also compare financial products like car insurance, credit cards, and loans? With MoneyMax, you can do all of that and more. Visit moneymax.ph and compare all of this for free. MoneyMax, helping Filipinos lead healthier financial lives.
Do you need a credit card? Are you confused where to get it from? Don't worry, MoneyMax is here to help you. Find a credit card that suits your lifestyle and needs within minutes on any device on a free-to-use platform. We provide you with the latest offers from our banking partners and fast-track your application to them so that you can do more with your money and lead a healthier financial life.
Of all the numbers that matter in business, here's the one that matters most. 7.7 billion. Because that's how many people there are on this planet. So every day, we work with banks, merchants, businesses, cities, and governments to solve human needs with human ideas. We're helping retailers reimagine how people shop, developing new digital-first payment experiences, making transactions of all kinds safer and more secure, giving people and businesses more control over their financial data, modernizing commercial payments for businesses of all sizes all around the world, all in a pursuit of our vision of an economy where everyone can reach their potential. At MasterCard, we are here to help our partners help people. Because we believe when you start with people, you can start something priceless.
Do you need a credit card? Are you confused where to get it from? Don't worry, MoneyMax is here to help you. Find a credit card that suits your lifestyle and needs within minutes on any device on a free-to-use platform. We provide you with the latest offers from our banking partners and fast-track your application to them so that you can do more with your money and lead a healthier financial life.
Hotels, flights, gadgets, what do they have in common? They all have dedicated comparison platforms. But do you know that you can also compare financial products like car insurance, credit cards, and loans? With MoneyMax, you can do all of that and more. Visit moneymax.ph and compare all of this for free. MoneyMax, helping Filipinos lead healthier financial lives.
And we're live. Hello. Welcome to the MoneyMax 7th birthday FB Live. Now, before we begin, allow me to introduce myself. So, hello, I'm Anya Katigbak-Cajucom. I'm a financial advisor, financial planner, and the founder of Money Health Check, and of course, your host for today's webinar. Now, I am super excited to have all of you here because this isn't just any other webinar. You know, we are actually celebrating the birthday, the 7th birthday of Money Max. So to everyone who's tuned in right now, alam ko na active kayo sa comment section. Do send in your greetings and, you know, greet Money Max a happy birthday. Now, we're super excited about all the amazing conversations that we're going to be having today. And because it's the 7th birthday of Money Max, we are also going to be giving away a birthday bundle. So, you know, be sure to stay tuned until the end of this event. Now, diba, you might be the lucky winner for today, actually, because we will be giving free vouchers and, of course, lots more in store, which I will be announcing at the end of the webinar. Now that we have everyone excited, diba, we would love to have you geared up for the event today. And who better can do that than the co-general manager of Money Max, Munmun Nath, and the head of commercial, Greg Aguilar. So without much delay, let us call on Munmun and Greg to join us. Hi, Munmun. Hi, Greg.
Hi.
Hello. You know, we've anticipated long enough for this day to come. So let's start with Munmun. What can our viewers tonight expect from this webinar? And then followed by Greg.
Sure. So I would like to start with a very warm welcome to everyone who is joining us today. A very quick introduction about MoneyMax in case you have heard about us for the first time. MoneyMax is a marketplace similar to Lazada or TripAdvisor, but for financial products like credit cards, loans, car insurance. You can compare these different products on our website, apply for them, and then we work with our partners to help you avail these. So yes, I'm very excited today because it's our 7th birthday. We started in the Philippines 7 years ago with the aim to provide free, fair, and fast access to financial products and information. And we have been able to make significant progress on this mission. And that's thanks to our customers, our partners, our followers. So I would like to use this platform to acknowledge everyone who has played an important role in our journey. Thank you so much for supporting us all these years. So yeah, coming back to our event, you might be wondering that why are we talking about credit cards at our birthday event? Well, I would like to share a personal anecdote here. I've been living in the Philippines for past 7 years now. Before I joined MoneyMax, I used to be a supplementary credit card holder. But as soon as I joined MoneyMax, the primary credit card holder, my husband, he took that card away from me and he said, now you work for a company that helps people get credit cards, so go get one for yourself. Well, it's easier said than done, as I've learned over the years. And I know that many Filipinos face the same challenge. They want to get their first card, they apply, but they don't understand why they're not getting approved. So because this is one of the biggest and most common challenge our customers face, we want to address it today, and we'll seek answers on the behalf of our customers from the industry experts who will join us later today. So there.
All right. So what about Greg here? Please introduce yourself to our viewers and, of course, what they can also expect from this webinar.
Yeah, thanks, Munmun, and thanks, Antoinette. So I guess I'd like to start by, saying that I hope everyone is staying dry. I know the last couple of days have been heavy with the rain, so it's all kind of good that we're all here today. And then, like what Munmun mentioned earlier, I'd like to thank everyone for making the time today. I know it's Friday, it's payday. We're probably all looking forward to, taking some rest on the weekend. So, my name's Greg, and I serve as the head of commercial here for MoneyMax. Personally, I'm coming on to my 4th year now here with the company. So, I've been around already for like half of MoneyMax's birthdays, and like any proud parent, I'm kind of proud to see kind of like our collective child grow up, so to speak. In general, when it comes to financial products, whether or not they're credit cards or personal loans or insurance products, whatever you have, these are always kind of a little bit more difficult to understand or follow. And that has to do sometimes with the complexity or the terminologies that are used. And this really shouldn't be the case. We want these things to be simple and easy to understand. And especially, since over the last 18 months, we've started to see the shift to online begin to accelerate. And having said that, credit cards are only going to start playing an increasing role in our society. You already see that with likes of online shopping and online groceries. So it's kind of important that we put ourselves in a better position to understand how these products work so that we can responsibly use them to improve our financial lives. So one of the core missions here at MoneyMax is to be able to contribute to the overall financial literacy of our fellow countrymen. And it's our hope that today's event, kind of helps do that. So we have a great panel of industry experts here to share their knowledge with us and clarify some of the common misconceptions surrounding credit cards. And we'd also probably want to talk about some of the unseen values that they hold in terms of building our financial life. If we're able to positively impact someone's understanding of credit cards here today, then I think we probably walk away with considering this session a win. Hopefully it's a little bit more than that, and we make this easier for everyone. And with that, I'd like to welcome everyone again for attending, and I'll turn it over back to you, Antoinette, to get us underway.
I love that, Greg and Munmun. It's like, as a financial advocate myself, I can see how this brand has really helped a lot of Filipinos, through simplified financial topics, from credit cards and, of course, to other financial topics under finance. Now, of course, to kickstart our program, we are going to start by asking trivia questions for our audience right over here. So, okay, let's get started then. We have the MoneyMax team at the back who are going to take note of the winners. Okay, so let's start with the very first question. Ready na ba kayo, mga kaibigan? Okay, so number one, MoneyMax is celebrating its 7th year in the business with a total of 97 employees. We started with just blank employees in 2014. Again, MoneyMax is celebrating its 7th year in the business with a total of 97 employees. We started with just blank employees in 2014. Ano nga ang tamang sagot? Okay, go type in your answers, mga keyboard warriors. Okay. All right. So do we have the answer? Okay, sige. So let's proceed to the second trivia question, just so that we can get moving on. Now, MoneyMax is very much active in other platforms as well, just like in Instagram. So what is the Instagram handle of MoneyMax? You have 5 seconds to answer this. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now on to the next question. On the MoneyMax website, you can compare car insurance, credit cards, and blank. Okay, Greg already said this earlier. So, ayun na. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, in 2018, MoneyMax gave away what for their 4th anniversary? In 2018, MoneyMax gave away blank for their 4th anniversary. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now on to the next question. In 7 years, more than blank million people have visited the MoneyMax website. Okay, in 7 years, more than blank a million people have visited the MoneyMax website. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, on to the last 2 questions. 2 questions now. Okay, so MoneyMax employees have been working from home for blank months now. Okay, MoneyMax employees have been working from home for blank months now. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, last but not the least. Okay, so I have one more chance to get this right. MoneyMax recently launched their newest social media account on blank. Okay, so just a clue, I'm also very, very active on this platform. Alam niyo na, okay? So MoneyMax recently launched their newest social media account on blank. Okay, there you have it. That ends our trivia questions. Don't worry for those who weren't able to get the answers. We have one more coming up by the end of the webinar, so do stay tuned. Now, on to the most awaited part of the event. I'm sure this is what all of you guys came from, okay? So let's get right into the talk. Our first speaker is currently the president and CEO of RCBC Bankcard Services Corporation. Prior to his appointment, he held the role of Chief Customer Experience and Risk Officer since joining the company in December 2019. He is a certified financial risk manager by the Global Association of Risk Professionals. He has been active in the industry and was a former credit committee chairman of the Credit Card Association of the Philippines. Let us all welcome Mr. Arniel Ong. Thank you so much for joining us, Arniel.
Thank you, Antoinette. Good evening. And hi, Munmun, Greg, and everybody. And happy birthday to Money Max.
Ayun. Okay, so Arniel, I know it's very clear that with your credentials, you are a respectable and admirable man for the work that you do. So we're very interested to know what made you decide to, offer that brain of yours, that skill set of yours at the heart of RCBC.
Oh, we're happy to bring more and more people into the financial services industry. At RCBC, we're one of the largest credit card issuers in the market. We have more than 900,000 card holders and are bringing, and that's our goal. And in fact, we see a lot of potential in the Philippine market. So that's really why we're here also as well to help address the questions of, some of your viewers. And I hope we can help make it easy for a lot of them.
Definitely, Arniel. Now we're excited to learn from you. Okay, on to our next speaker. Joining us today is a superwoman and amazing visionary. And when I say amazing, I mean it because she is the country head of marketing at HSBC Philippines. She joined HSBC close to 15 years ago from another multinational bank where she spent 3 years in acquisition and sales distribution team for credit cards. So she has had over 28 years of banking experience stretching from public relations, communications, and foundation work to branch operations, bank and credit and marketing, and product development. Gabi, ang haba na na. But, she successfully led various acquisition and usage campaigns that drove product development and new-to-bank growth in the digital and social platforms. Here to discuss everything about credit cards, please welcome Anya Katigbak-Cajucom. Hello, Anya. Good evening.
Happy birthday. Hi, Munmun, Greg, and Arns. Hi, Antoinette.
Hello. Hi. So, Anya, as a woman in finance myself, I really look up to powerful women like you. It's just like casually dominating the finance industry. Diba? So from working with huge banks to now HSBC, you've mentioned earlier that you're like the only one left in the team. But tell us, Anya, what makes HSBC Philippines relevant even up to this day? And what made you decide to stay?
Well, HSBC Philippines has been here in the Philippines for over 145 years, and we keep on evolving. We keep on continue to adapt to what the market needs. So we keep relevant. We keep evolving. We keep adapting, and we really are here to help our customers, our community, and our country thrive. So we open up really a world of opportunities for everyone in the Philippines and in our community.
Ayun. So it's all about being able to adapt. And I'm sure it's been long-standing even up till now because, even during the pandemic, the industry has been doing very well. Okay, so on to our last speaker naman. Okay, it is with such great honor to introduce to you someone who is actually also well-known in the industry. He is the country manager of MasterCard Philippines, bringing in nearly 2 decades of local experience in the banking and finance industry to the organization's local leadership team. His digital-first business acumen and 2 decades-long career in the Philippines payments industry supports MasterCard to double down on work with partners in different industries. So he also focuses on accelerating the uptake of countless card payments, strengthening MasterCard's proposition as a multi-rail payments technology company. Let's all welcome Simon Javier Calasanz. Hello, Simon. Welcome.
Hi there, guys. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but hopefully you can. So I'm Simon Calasanz from MasterCard Philippines. So I just recently joined MasterCard, but I've been a banking industry veteran for the past 20 years. So just very quickly on MasterCard. So we're not just a credit card company. We are a global technology company that participates in the payments field, and we aim to make transactions safe, simple, smart, and accessible. So thank you.
Ayun. So, I mean, given that MasterCard has been in the field for more than 50 years already, we see your company, we see your logos, we see it on ATM machines. So, we'd love to know more about it later on. Now, we would love to have Munmun here tell us why exactly we brought in these speakers to teach us today. Go ahead, Munmun.
Sure, thanks, Antoinette, and thank you everyone for joining this discussion. So, to answer your question, I would actually like to share a very simple statistic, which is credit card penetration. Credit card penetration is a measure of how many credit card holders are there in the total population. And in case of Philippines, the number is just 2%, which is one of the lowest in Asia. Only 2% of Filipinos have access to a credit card. And this number hasn't seen a significant jump over the last few years, even though it's growing. So, as I said at the start, getting the first credit card can prove to be a challenge for many Filipinos. And from their perspective, they might feel that, we met all the criteria. Even then, why was my application not approved? And they're often left wondering that. Sometimes the application criteria itself confuses them. Like some millennials ask us that why in this day and age, having a landline number is a mandatory requirement for a credit card. So, because the purpose of this discussion today is to answer such questions like, what do banks look for when they are evaluating my credit card application? Why should you compare credit cards before you apply? And what are the benefits of credit card versus other forms of credit in the market? So who better than the people we have on the panel, because they represent the full spectrum of the industry. We have a local bank, we have an international bank, and we have MasterCard. So that's why we have invited them to join us today.
Exactly, Gabby. So it really is a privilege for us that, MoneyMax is hosting this type of webinar to educate more of us here, even at the comfort of our own homes. Now, Greg, in your case, you might have a few words to say apart from what Munmun said. So you have the floor.
Yeah, so I guess I'd like to start off by, I think, seconding some of the main objectives that Munmun highlight, right? Our main goal here is really to kind of improve clarity for applicants and enable them to put themselves in a better position to get what they want or what they're looking for. The value that we want to bring to our users mainly comes in three forms. First off is financial education. So we typically do that by focusing on sharing or generating unbiased content that we feel is relevant to our audience. And then the second way is like through holding events such as these, where we can connect with them and really kind of understand, some of their concerns and be able to talk to them, kind of like in a more human way. The second one is making comparison a little bit easier. I think gone are the days where people would have to compare on their own. So we're constantly trying to refine our ability to do so. And then the third one would be improving access to products once people have identified what it is that they're looking for, right? So it's not just a matter of being able to compare, but we also want to make sure that the user journey itself is seamless to make the experience better for our customers and our users. Credit cards are typically, one of the first financial, I think, instruments or products that we all kind of encounter in our professional lives or our financial lives. I think for most people, it's probably going to come in the form of some type of savings account. I know for myself, that's how I started off when I was working for HSBC actually, and then they were the first ones to give me a savings account, and then shortly after, I had the privilege of getting an HSBC credit card as well. Having said that, I think there's a lot of room for us to kind of have a better understanding of how credit cards can impact us. Outside of providing liquidity and ease of access. And we want to shed some light on how credit cards can help also build, user credit rating, and how that can ultimately impact access and eligibility to other financial products, for other milestones that we'll encounter in our lives. And I would like to cite, maybe buying a first car as a milestone, or maybe buying a house or an education plan, things of that nature, and how credit cards can kind of tie into, those life events as well. So the majority of our users are mostly millennials, or those that are starting out in their professional careers. I think I see a lot of you here in the comments section, and we want to play a part in educating you when it comes to having a better understanding of the way credit cards work. So we want to make sure that the topic here brings value to you, and it's the reason why we're very happy, I think, to have this panel here of experts, so that we can have some industry expertise help guide us also in terms of our understanding, our misconceptions of credit cards in general.
Definitely. And I'm sure majority of our viewers here are perhaps planning to get a credit card, or maybe they do have a credit card but don't really know how to maximize it. So we hope to answer those questions later on. But for Munmun here, what is basically the importance of tackling the topics that Greg mentioned, about the pain points of Filipinos when acquiring credit cards and banks in general? What do you have to say about that?
So the basic questions that most of our customers ask us is understanding better how the process works. Like when they apply for a card, what happens next? Why do they never hear back if they are not approved? These are very basic questions that they ask us that we would like to discuss through this discussion today.
That's right. That's right. And even if information is readily available online, it's like information overload for. So we are going to make it simplified here in tonight's webinar. Now that we were able to get to know our speakers and the team of MoneyMax, let's get the ball rolling to the actual part, the actual talk, basically. So I do have a few questions here that I'd like to ask our panelists. And first one, starting with Arniel. Okay, so Arniel, this is actually a common problem, especially for first timers. What are the common reasons why people get rejected when they apply for a credit card? Because if we get approved for a credit card, sometimes you already know kung bakit, diba? But when we're denied, credit card issuers rarely tell you on the spot the reason why your credit card application was denied. So ano ba nangyari? What are the common reasons, Ariel?
Yeah, sure. Well, actually, it depends, no, on a bank, because individual banks will have different credit policies or parameters to assess a credit card applicant. But in general, maybe what's more relevant is actually how do we help people get approved or increase their chances of getting approved for a credit card. To my mind, there are a few things. So one is when you're applying for a card, you make sure that you uh, completely fill it up with the latest and accurate information, verifiable information, in fact. When you're asked to submit documents or you need to go through a EKYC or submit documents online, make sure to do that, complete the process, and also give clear copies of these documents. And lastly, actually, if you have an existing credit history, whether it's paying another card or paying another loan or paying a bill that that has your name on it, it's important that you keep these things up to date and that you maintain good credit record, because obviously I think most of customers already know that we actually cross reference and check credit behavior against various sources of credit information. So in general, these are the things that are important. Up to date, accurate information, clear documentation, latest documentation, verifiable information, and good credit history.
Okay, so is everyone taking note, especially for those who are watching? You've noticed that instead of lowering their standards, it's best if these applicants go through a rigorous process to ensure that, of course, that we prevent defaults and other problems that arise when you do own a credit card. Now, the next question is for Anya naman. Okay, so how can first timers get a credit card since a lot of banks require applicants to have an active credit card? And this is actually similar to the logic na pag mag-a-apply ka ng ID dito sa Pinas, kailangan mo ng dalawa pang valid ID as a requirement. So what can you advise these first timers to do if they want to acquire a credit card, Anna?
Well, there are a few channels in which you can apply for a new to card account. One is similarly there is MoneyMax here, or price comparison websites that can really help you assess depending on your need. If you're a first timer, they can provide you the list of where you can apply for first time cards. Other things, well, normally having a relationship with a bank would also weigh in, and it's a big difference when you do have a relationship with a bank. And each bank, depending on the relationship, can provide you your new to card. So it really depends, but there are platforms and avenues in which you can be able to choose where you can really apply for your new credit card.
Ayun. So I am taking notes here. We'll have a good relationship with the bank, and also make sure that you also check out comparison websites. Now, this one is for Simon. Okay, because a lot of people, well, most really, don't think about the intricacies of electronic payments, diba? What happens when we swipe? And usually our basis when we're choosing for a card is just the bank, the type of card, and then ayun, swipe ulit, diba? But when it comes to choosing a credit card, what is the role of payment networks such as MasterCard or Visa? Because we know their names and we know their logo, but we don't know exactly what they do. Simon, what do you have to say about that?
Okay. So there are two things that we can do, right? So let me break that down into two pieces, right? The first part is that a payment network, you take a look at us as the rails through which transactions happen. So there are several parties to a transaction. There is the consumer, there is the issuing bank, there is the acquiring bank, and there is the merchant. So when a consumer walks into a store and makes a transaction, he usually has a credit card of a particular bank, right? Now that merchant will also have an acquiring terminal. That card now is swiped at the terminal. Now, where do those transactions go through? Those now go through what we call the card rails. And those card rails can either be MasterCard, Visa, JCB, and Amex, because there are other card rails here in the Philippines. Now, what consumers might want to look for are whether or not acceptance of those particular card brands is wide in the particular country that they're in. So MasterCard, luckily we're the market leader here in the Philippines, so card acceptance is really good. And those are definitely among the things that customers will want to take a look at, whether or not acceptance in the country that they're at is quite strong. Secondly, they'll also want to take a look at the proposition of these card payment networks. What kind of proposition does the card network have? Is it travel? Is it rewards? Is it rebates? And that is something that a customer needs to take a look at, of course, when they choose the particular card network as well, together with the issuing bank, when selecting a credit card.
Right. So keyword there is acceptance. That's why, every time I enter a retail store and I want to buy something, they usually say, we just accept MasterCard or we just accept Visa. So basically, the network acts as the facilitator between your credit card account and the merchant account, basically. Okay, okay, I'm learning a lot. So the next question, this one is for our leaders of Money Max, Munmun and Greg. So why should one compare credit cards? Let's start out with Greg.
Yeah, so definitely like anything else, you kind of want to take into account the usage of the cards, right? I know that there's a natural aversion, I think, to taking on more than one card, but really different cards do different things and they're designed for different benefits. So I believe, like Simon just mentioned, that there's some cards that will offer rebates. There will some cards that will have air miles. There will be some other cards that will have different benefits, such as no annual fees, or the ability to adjust due dates. So really, depending on the need that you're looking to satisfy, different cards can do different things for you. So I think that would be one of the primary reasons to compare, so that for whatever financial event that you are trying to manage, you can use the appropriate credit card and get really the most out of it that way.
Ayun. Eh, tama nga naman because usually, even myself, I get credit card offers all the time. I receive them in my email. When I walk through the mall, may mag-offer ng credit card, diba? So, it's true because when you're comparing different credit cards, you get to find the best credit card that suits your needs. Because, like what Greg mentioned earlier, there's the annual fee that we also have to take in consideration. Like, why would you pay an annual fee to own a credit card when you can qualify for a credit card with no annual fees? So, comparing basically enables you to find the right credit card for you instead of just taking the first credit card offer that comes
Okay,
your
so
way.
good question. There are a lot of credit cards out there that currently offer no annual fees. And of course, a lot of people, they don't like paying fees, right? And for a lot of people, that's quite attractive. There are, however, some card propositions that are quite strong and something that you definitely want to partake of. So among them, you'd probably have free access to particular lounges, or you will always have discounts at particular stores, or sometimes you have very strong cash rebate propositions. And because of this, the amount that you pay in your annual fee is much, much lower compared to the benefit that you get from the total proposition of that particular card. So sometimes it's still worth it to pay an annual fee, depending on whether or not that proposition fits you as a customer.
Okay, okay. And that's also what the comparison websites are for. And definitely there are more features that different credit cards can offer you. Now, in line with perks and reward programs, as you've mentioned, basically when deciding on getting a new credit cards, a lot of people just focus on that, just the perks, the miles, the reward programs. But we know that it just represents a small portion of the benefits that a credit card actually offers. So, what are the benefits or the features of credit cards that a lot of people overlook na dapat talaga nila consider when they're choosing a new credit card? So, we can start with Arniel.
Yeah, sure, sure. So you're precisely right, no? Outside of the specific proposition of the card itself that you might be choosing, whether it's a cashback, rebate, rewards, or a travel card which earns you miles for every spend. My advice to customers is also to look into what are the other things that they can get, right, by owning a card of that bank, right? And those are the add-ons. So, for example, in our case, right, we give out financial tools to help customers manage their finances better. We allow them to monitor their spend across several categories. They get SMS alerts for spending, and they can define up to what level. They can convert transactions easily to installments in just a few clicks in the mobile app, and even pay and set up auto charge payments for their bills in the mobile app. So these things, right, they're over and above the proposition of the specific card, but it actually allows our customers um to have a very convenient way of managing their finances, so that they can actually do more outside of managing their credit card, and also tools that help them to actually pay for their debt, right, and to actually manage their cash flows better. So these are additional things that customers can benefit and must look for in their credit card brands. There are also brands and products that allow people to convert transactions to or balances to installment or even take out a cash loan against their credit line. Again, so those are items or product features that give our customers a lot more flexibility. So I definitely recommend for card holders or actually applicants to look for these things when you're actually searching for the right product for you.
Wow. Okay. So, given those features for Munmun here, we get to see these different features that the every credit card offers into these comparison websites. So, just going back to what we were talking about the importance of comparing these credit cards, what do you have to say about that, Munmun?
So, when we purchase anything online these days, like gadgets or clothes, I'm sure all of us compare price, features. We go to Lazada, we check out the same thing on Shopee, and we try to see what's the best deal we are getting on it. So, the same idea applies to financial products as well, right? Like, you should compare and see where you can get the best deal. And even more, this idea applies to financial products even more because unlike clothes or gadgets, the number of times we might be applying for a financial product like a credit card, the frequency is much less, right? So it's important to do all our research to ensure that we are applying for something that's right for us. And in terms of features, completely agree with what everyone is saying that we should look for. But another thing one should look for is welcome gifts. A lot of banks these days in the market are offering welcome gifts, which if you are new to the bank, you can avail of these offers. So that's one of the benefits that I would highlight.
All right. So, welcome gifts. Okay, we'll also take note of that. How about you, Anya? Is there anything you'd have to add to that? What are the features that people should look out for when they're trying to look for a credit card to get, Anya?
Yeah, so fairly, you have to also understand what matters to you, and how you would want to use and where you're going to use your credit card. Again, as Arn said, there are so many features around being able, and the flexibility that each credit card company, or the credit card companies provide. There are a lot of installment features, not just 0% installment that our merchants offer, but as well as being able to you know um, take a loan out of your card, and practically everything that Arn said um, allows, and that of course has to align with what's important to you as a card holder. So it really just fits your purpose, it fits your lifestyle, and it fits your needs. And really, that's what you need to look into when you apply for or look for what credit card really you will get.
I love that, Annie. You went a little bit deep there, but para when you're choosing a credit card, it should be the one that suits you, yung alam mo yung purpose mo, and because all of us really have different lifestyles, we have different priorities. So that also comes when choosing credit cards. Now, I have the same question for Simon. Now, you are very well versed about the different features, as you've mentioned, the proposition that every credit card holds. So, what are the other features that maybe Arniel or Anya and Munmun has not mentioned yet that people should look out for, Simon?
Okay, if I could just
Sorry.
add, like maybe while we're waiting for Simon here, there's probably some challenges with connection. But I would also say, like, and to the point that was made earlier, we don't necessarily also just need to search for one credit card
Sorry,
to
guys, I
satisfy.
was on mute.
Go for it.
So just very quickly, in terms of the other features of credit card, so we talked earlier about installment, bonus points, rebates, and rewards. Other things, especially when you travel, you can use your credit card at ATMs and withdraw money there. At other countries, you can also transact. And when you transact, you can transact in the home currency of the credit card country that you're currently visiting. in which case it makes it easy for you to kind of convert the foreign currency exchange. Other credit cards also allow you to take personal loans at a very low interest rate. So currently, the interest rate of credit cards is capped at 2%, right? But when you take out a personal loan, it comes out to an interest rate that's even smaller than that. Balance transfers as well. You can do that. So from one bank to another bank, you're able to transfer your balance at a lower interest rate, in which way you're able to manage your debt much better. So, credit cards, it's a very, very powerful tool. You can use it to manage your finances well. And it's something that people at a very young age can learn very much about. And it'll lead them to getting a better credit score in the future, because you'll very likely when you're starting out your career, you're starting first with a credit card. And as you grow older, you'll probably take out a loan, a car loan, and eventually, when you want to build a family, and the bank is taking a look at your credit history, well, what will they do? They'll take a look at whether or not you've got good credit history. They'll take a look at whether or not you've been paying your card on time. Uh, and if you show that you've been paying your card well, it'll be very, very easy for you to get a housing loan. So, those are some of the other features that, or indirect features as well, that you'll have as an owner of a credit card.
Right, Simon. So that's actually very well. That's popular. Knowing that with credit cards, you also get to build your credit history, because totoo naman, if wala kang credit history, then perhaps banks will almost always assume the worst of you. They might not know what kind of borrower you are. So before Greg was cut off, he was gonna add to what Anya said earlier.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, like, I think in your comment to Anya, you were saying that you would be able to find the perfect card that's kind of meant for you, right? And I would say that credit cards actually, they're probably not like relationships where you find the perfect one. You can have multiple ones, actually, depending on the need that you have. And that's just my little joke there. But really, it might be beneficial also for you to have multiple credit cards based on the need that you need satisfied. And I think to Simon's point as well, like if we're talking about building a credit history, holding relationships with multiple banks also allows you to be able to build that, right? Where a user may not necessarily limit their relationship to one. And really, I think you'll get the most out of that as long as people are using their credit cards responsibly. And I think really that's kind of like what most customers are afraid of. There's a certain apprehension that I may not be able to financially handle more than one. And for those cases, then that's perfectly fine. But I think, through better education, as long as we're a little more confident in our own capacity to pay our debts back, then really these have greater benefits in the long run.
Yeah, and to add also to that, Greg, I guess it's also dependent on the life stage that you have at that certain life stage, on how many, again, we go back also to responsible credit, right? So it really depends on the life stage that you have, and the need, really. Yes, yes, multiple cards also will benefit everybody, but also it depends on each life stage as to when and at what point you are able to find other cards that may address the need that you have at that current stage of your life. And that's why having more than one, of course, will also give you that security when you need to use it.
Right, right. And I've noticed that the majority of you are really talking about how credit cards can be to your advantage if used correctly. And I completely agree that it can be a powerful tool. But of course, it can also be one that could lead you into further financial problems. Now, a lot of the people watching are young professionals, and they fear that owning a credit card might actually lead to death. And we've seen it perhaps from our personal experiences, or may nakita sila sa mga movies na, credit card ruins a family and all these things. So what is your advice to these young professionals? We can start off with Arniel.
Yeah, actually, my advice to them is that owning a credit card is actually a great way to pay for purchases. And at the same time, be rewarded for doing so. And we've already extensively talked about what you get from owning a credit card product. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Fundamentally, I think to address the fear, the basic advice is really to live and spend within your means, right? And again, that's different for every customer. It depends on the level of income that you have, your cash flows, your other obligations in life. But live and spend within your means, and you'll be fine. And at the same time, I'll stress it again. It's important to maximize the use of the flexibility that card products give you, right? Installments for big ticket purchases, put them on installments, and that will help you manage your cash flows better. Download the mobile app, check your balances there, right? So all of those things will actually help you manage your credit behavior better. And so I think that's really a fear that really can be addressed, right? Fundamentally, if you already have a card, uh, at the bottom line of it, it's really about making sure you also pay on time, pay at least the minimum amount due, right? Or you can pay in full if you like to. It's really up to you, and that's the beauty of it, right? That's the flexibility that it gives you. So live and spend within your means, and maximize the tools that the card product provides to you.
I love that, Arniel. So, we're getting a few personal finance tips here, diba? So, hindi naman talaga yung credit card that enables you to go into further debt, but it really is on your own financial habits. So, as he mentioned, take note, live below or within your means, and of course, learn how to maximize it. Tama nga naman, because for me, I look at credit cards as more of a deferred payment or a tool of convenience. And really, the best way to prevent overspending is to create a budget and also to stick to it. So tandaan, to everyone watching, kapag may gusto, wag utangin, pag-ipunan. Okay, now on to the next question. You mentioned earlier that, Annie mentioned earlier that one can have more than one credit cards. So this one is for Simon. Okay, so how many credit cards should one have? Like, how many is too many, or is there an ideal number of credit cards you should have, Simon?
Okay. How many credit cards? It depends on your current means, right? So, in terms of being able to handle multiple credit cards, if you have the means to handle multiple credit cards, it's okay. And if the different propositions of those different credit cards appeal to you, then that's absolutely fine. As long as you have, of course, the means to be able to pay for all of those cards on time. Now, if you're a new person to having a credit card, obviously just start with one until you're able to scale up your income to a time that you probably have a little bit more disposable income. Then you can probably extend to two. So ideally, I would say two because you want to have one backup credit card in case the other card doesn't work. So we were talking about acceptance earlier, right? Sometimes it happens, right? When you swipe your credit card, it doesn't work for whatever reason. The network might be down, or the system might be down. There's a problem with the mag stripe. So at least you have a backup credit card which you're able to use. So ideally, you have two. If you're just starting out, it's okay to have one. But if your means can handle it, then as long as the proposition appeals to you, then it's fine. You can have as many as five credit cards.
Okay, so for starters, start with the one, and then perhaps you can also get another one once your income increases. But it's okay to have at least five for as long as you can pay off the full balance on every card every month. Okay, so for this next question, I've actually received this a lot of times, especially in my videos. Why do banks sometimes not notify the applicants if they get rejection? So this is for Anya. 'Di ba? Kasi mahirap eh. So may ghosting din na nangyayari between the banks and the applicants also. So Anya, how do you suggest these applicants deal with this? And ano kaya yung reason why the banks do not notify these applicants, Anya?
Well, I definitely cannot answer for the other banks, but in our bank, it is our practice to inform our applicants as a matter of transparency. But technically, if they don't get any, if they don't hear from the bank, they can actually call to inquire. But normally, as a matter of transparency, the bank would notify, people of their application, of the status of their application. So I guess if they haven't heard, it's still being processed, depending again, as Simon and Arniel were saying earlier, when you are asked for certain documentation, or when you're filling out your application form, make sure that you provide the information that's being asked, because only then can the bank really process your applications quicker. So if you haven't heard, it's either it's still under process because of some incomplete data or some incomplete documentation. So if ever, you can just call to inquire. But as a rule or as a policy in our bank, we do provide in the notification.
Ayun naman pala. So it really is in the process. Perhaps you lack the requirements, you've typed in the wrong information during the application process. So take note to everyone watching. Do follow-ups, and perhaps the banks can notify you. Now, I believe Arniel here has something to add
Yeah.
to what Anya says.
Yeah, like Anya, we actually don't ghost the applicant. So walang ghosting sa RTBC. We text our customers even if the news is sad that we can't give them the credit at this point. Because that's just good practice and good customer experience. But at the same time, we tell them that you can actually go to the branch. And at this time, if we can't give you the card as you would apply, an unsecured card, we let you open a secured card where you put a small deposit, and we take a hold on that, and then we give you the card. And that's a good alternative way, right? An alternative route of building credit history. And then eventually later on, we can actually also release that holdout. So there's no end to it actually, because the customer is given another option.
Okay, so yun naman pala, they do notify you. And does Simon have anything to add to what Arniel just said?
Okay. So ideally, banks, as a matter of transparency, it's really good practice to inform customers why they got declined. There are several decline reasons that, from a bank policy standpoint, might not be able, the banks might not be able to disclose. But there are other decline reasons that are sometimes correctable, like missing documents, or like Arniel and Anya mentioned earlier, misspelling, some details were not captured correctly. In which case, if banks are able to inform the customers are able to quickly rectify those problems. In which case, it's a better experience for the customer, because oh, this is the reason why I got declined. Let me correct that. And it's a better experience for the banks as well, because they will get more approved customers. So ideally, I would encourage banks to also, inform customers at least certain decline reasons, that they're able to communicate this to the customer. But again, as Arniel also mentioned, if you do get declined and are declined by multiple banks, it might be good for you to try to open a bank account with any particular bank, and then ask them for a credit line through a credit card. And very likely you will get approved, because if your bank deposit is with them, they feel much more safe. They know who you are, and they'd be more than happy to grant you a credit card.
All right. So that's good that banks really are taking the initiative to help these applicants so that they can get a credit card. Now, we actually have a few more questions for our speakers, and I'm sure all of you watching have too. So let's address them in a quick Q&A. So, Arniel, Anya, and Simon, as you already know, we're here live with our friends who are watching, who are very much live as well. They're actively commenting. And they do have a few questions for you. Okay, so perhaps Monmon can take this over. Monmon, you're on mute.
Sure. Sorry.
Ayan, okay.
So we
Go
have
ahead.
a question from Ocean League Garnita. If a person is a supplementary card holder, is she already building his or her credit history, or is it still with the principal card holder? So I believe.
Okay, let's start with Anya here.
Sure.
Oh yeah, I can answer that. Well, technically, if you're a supplementary card holder, the credit history still belongs to the principal, because it's the principal that continues to pay for, obviously, the card, and all the information and the performance of that credit card really stays with the principal card holder. So technically, your credit history really relies on if you really own and are responsible on your own credit card.
Okay, so it's better to be responsible talaga when you're handling your credit card. Now, Monmon has something to say also about this question. Go ahead, Monmon.
Sure. So I understand that if you are a supplementary card holder, because the supplementary card is also in the name of the primary card holder, even if you're spending on the supplementary card, it doesn't create your own credit history. It still creates the credit history of the principal card holder. Is that correct?
That is
Correct.
correct.
All
Right.
right.
So
Yeah. Okay, so now we can proceed to the next question from our audience. So Richard Cornites asked, I was advised to wait for 6 months before reapplying after being denied. Any particular reason why wait for that long, please? Bakit nga ba ganun katagal 6 months now? So who would like to answer this question? Arniel, would you want to
Yeah,
take this over?
sure. Sure. Well, actually, again, it depends on the kind of the reason for the decline, right? If it's just information that's missing or document that's been missed out, then you don't have to wait. Typically, you don't have to wait for 6 months for that. And I think customers can ask that from the banks. But on other things like credit history, so typically banks would want you to wait for 6 months just to make sure that if you've been in some form of a problem in the past, there's enough time for you to have recovered from that, and your credit history is now okay, and then the bank can already give credit again. So those are really the reasons why, because typically they have to, especially for those who have some, sometimes there are sloppy payers and they miss paying for their bill, right? So banks want to make sure that you're okay, and that's also part of good credit practice at the banks, to ensure that you don't give too much credit to someone who's already having a difficult time, right? So that's really one of the reasons, actually.
If I could just add to Arniel's answer as well, and I mean, please by all means correct me if I'm wrong here. Part of the reasons why like the banks would also want you to wait for this amount of duration is because if the decline was due for financial reasons, typically our own financial circumstance will not improve overnight or will not change overnight, right? So really, it's actually a disservice to the applicant as well as the bank in terms of having to deal with a secondary application if the circumstances aren't necessarily going to change. And if you were to think about the volume of applications that banks would need to take on if there was no threshold when it comes to the minimum amount of I guess months that someone would have to wait, then really what would happen was that everyone would start applying for a credit card regardless of the amount of times that they've been declined, right? And it would just be kind of like a luck of the draw type of thing. And really, I don't think the banks are that's not what responsible, I think, on their part, right? You want to be able to give someone who's financially able, I think, to be able to qualify for a credit card, and in that nature, like. Typically, again, like we don't see that personal circumstances are going to change drastically, I think, within less than 6 months.
Okay, so it's all about the banks
Okay.
really being able
One
to
other
choose.
thing that I would add, which is something different from what Arniel has mentioned. Um, so sometimes there might be people who might be trying to game the system. So they try to, send multiple applications and then put in different details. And that, oh, I got declined. Let me try to tweak this detail a little bit. I got declined with if because my income was a little bit lower. Let me try to put it a bit higher. I got declined because my occupation was stated like this. Let me try to change it a little bit more. So there might be some people who are trying to game the system, and that's also part of the reasons why credit card companies also try to put a time before you're able to apply again. But of course, the primary reason is already what Arniel mentioned earlier, which is the change of behavior of a customer. Minimum, you would look at 6 months for a person to change his payment behavior and even his income. So those would probably be the two reasons why banks likely ask for that space in between applications.
All right. So, Richard, you know what to do now that you're given 6 months before you can reapply. Again, do watch out for your behavior, basically, when it comes to spending. Now, on to the next question from our audience. We have one from Jam Gion. So, if you are shopping online, is it better to pay by credit card or by debit card? So, who wants to answer this? Perhaps Anya, you have something to say?
Um, it's actually a personal choice on whether to use a credit card or a debit card online. I guess the big difference between really credit and debit is the mere fact that credit is, against a credit line, while debit you're already getting funds from your bank account. So it really depends on the reason and the manner in which you're purchasing something. So it's a personal choice.
Yeah, personal choice. So, Arniel, do you
As
have
well,
something to add
sorry,
also? Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead,
just
Miss
to
Anya,
add,
Anya.
Anya,
Go
go ahead.
ahead.
sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry, just to add, and I guess I think just the difference between a debit and a credit is that with your credit, as mentioned by Arniel and Simon and also Munmun and Greg earlier, there are a lot of value that comes with a credit card, and there are a lot of features of your credit card. So if that online merchant, would provide or has like a discount or a rebate scheme with your credit card, then obviously, you use which one will provide you the best value. So it's a personal choice, as well as you have to know what features or what benefits you have with your credit card with that merchant that you're buying from, because that will really give the big difference, because you get more value out of that transaction depending on what you have, or what the merchant is offering with that card partner. So you have to know what features or what discounts or freebies or rebates you have, when purchasing at a certain merchant online store.
Okay. Arniel, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I completely agree with Anya. Both are great. They're both cashless. They give you the convenience, right? At the end of the day, it depends on the customer. If the customer has the funds to pay for it, because the debit card will, basically, it's paid in full, right? You buy a 40,000 television, it will charge it to your bank account right away. If you want to have the flexibility to pay for especially a big ticket transaction over a period of time, whether it's an installment partnership with a merchant or you're converting it to an installment after your purchase, then the credit card gives you that flexibility. So again, it will depend on the customer, and what you really have and what you really get out of the transaction.
Okay, so Simon, would you like to add to that also?
So paying through credit card gives you a lot more flexibility. But if you know that you have no control and you have a tendency to overspend, then by all means stick to debit.
Okay, so again, it's all about other than the merchant itself and the customer, it also is really about your financial habits. Now we can proceed to our next question from our audience. Erica Castillo Juan asks, mostly credit cards have rewards. When is the right time to redeem it? Yeah, so we can start with Simon. Would you want to answer this question? So when would be the
So
right
in
time to
terms of
redeem it?
when the right
Mhm.
time to redeem it, any time that you think you'll be able to enjoy the privilege. So, like in my personal experience, there was a time that I just kept on swiping on my credit card, and then after probably a 6 month period, I didn't realize that I was able to accumulate a lot of points already. And it wasn't me who checked my bonus points; it was my wife. And then she said, "Oh, we already have enough to, land the trip to a particular country." And I said, "Oh, okay, go ahead." So again, it boils down to whether or not you're able to accumulate enough points to redeem the reward that you want. So sometimes there's a minimum amount of points to be able to redeem something that's worth a good amount of money. Because if you're only spending small amounts at a small amount of time, then the amount of bonus points that you're able to rack up might not be, that attractive. So again, depends on what you want. Do you want something now, in which case you're able to redeem something quickly, or do you want something big, in which case you wait a little bit more until you're able to accumulate enough bonus points to make it quite attractive?
Oh, okay, okay. So parang delayed gratification. If you want to go something big, then you can collect as you are using the credit card. Now, for the next question, actually, this is also one of the most asked questions in the audience. From Janice Ian, how to increase credit limit? Okay, so maybe Annie, you can answer this first.
There are a couple of ways to increase your credit limit. Normally, some banks, they do it automatically at a certain level of spend and history. There is as you go along with your relationship with that card company or that bank, there's a natural progression of increasing credit limit. But if you really want an increase now, then you can simply get in touch with, either if you have a relationship manager, or if you can call the bank to request for a limit increase. And of course, it depends on, it also depends on the person. A limit increase can also equate to, the bank asking for additional information that would substantiate the, of course, amount being requested. Um, and there are a variety of ways, in terms of requesting that kind of increase. Is it dependent on the amount that's being requested?
Definitely. So other than requesting, I believe that when you are also a diligent payer, then the bank can grant you that credit
Yep.
increase. Now, for Munmun here, now that we know how to increase our credit limit, how does the bank decide how much credit limit to provide an applicant, Munmun?
So, I believe it would differ from bank to bank, but just based on my understanding, and the banks here can correct me, I believe it depends on your behavior. Like, have you made your payments on time? Do you always pay the bill in full? Have you ever maxed out your cards? These are the behaviors I assume the banks would be looking at. But as a consumer, I think the right thing to do is not to ask for a limit as soon as you get the card. perhaps wait for 6 to 12 months, during which you demonstrate these positive behaviors, which would probably increase the likelihood that your credit limit would be increased. I'll defer this question to Anya. Perhaps you can go next.
Yeah,
Uh,
or Anya,
sorry, about the credit limit increase.
or
I believe it's
Arniel,
something
Arniel.
that. Yeah,
go ahead.
something that.
Arniel,
Okay.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So in addition to what Munmun has said, right? Banks also take a well. It's a combination of multiple factors. Banks take a look at your income, your credit behavior, your existing credit limit in other banks, to assign the right limit. At the end of the day, what banks do is they want to assign a good limit that will make you use your card, but at the same time, a limit that will also allow you to be able to pay responsibly and you don't fall into a debt trap. So that's what banks do. Now, just to add to the limit increase question, that's correct, precisely. So my additional advice there is actually two things: keep using your card and maintain a good credit record on that card. And banks will typically give automatic limit increases on top of your existing one without having to call them. Other than that, if you really need one and they didn't increase it yet, then you can always reach out to your bank.
Ayun. So it really all depends on your behavior, diba? As the payer. But so to everyone watching here, if you do have credit cards, remember that your credit limit is not your spending limit. Ah. So don't fall into the trap of maxing out your credit card just because they did put an increase in your credit limit. Just a tip for all of you here. Now we do have one last question from our audience, from Jam Alisa Montajes. What are a few ways to avoid some credit card fees once you have a credit card? So, who would like to start? Arniel, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. Some tips. One, make sure that you get your statement. Pay on time, on or before the due date, and pay at least the minimum amount due that your statement is showing you, and that will help you avoid things like late charges. Second, top of mind, stay within your limits as much as possible, right? Because banks will also charge over limit for the extra convenience when sometimes you go over your limit. So when you think you need more already, like I said earlier, reach out to your bank to ask for a limit increase. So those are probably, there's a number of other things, but those are the main ones I want to, share to our viewers.
Okay, so sabi niya, stay within your limit. Tapos kanina sabi din niya, live within your means. Okay, so Simon can go next, and then
Okay.
Anya.
Okay, just one tip. So Arniel already mentioned in terms of paying your card on time. So one thing as a tip, so that you always get reminded to pay your card on time, ask for SMS alerts. So there are many banks now that provide SMS alerts. Every time you use your card, a transaction alert will go to your phone, so that it tells you and reminds you that you've actually spent your card. Second, you can request for your actual billing via SMS or via e-statement. Because now, if you do snail mail, how often do you really read your paper statements, right? You'd rather just go through your email or read your statements via SMS. In which case, when your bill is due and you're able to pay your bill on time. And every time that you pay your bill on time and at the right amount, you're able to avoid those fees. So that would be my tip.
Okay, so banks definitely have made it more convenient for us payers to pay our bills. We do get SMS alerts, and of course, we can also check them out online. Would you agree, Greg?
Yeah, definitely. I think more of a mindset in terms of what you can do, right? Is I would recommend that people be proactive in managing their payments. I know, like banks and a lot of companies have made our lives easier and tried to make our lives more convenient, but really the kind of downside of that is that's trained us to be lazy a little bit. And sometimes what that does is it gives us a sense that that responsibility is not ours, right? So I mean, the main point here is to learn how to be financially responsible, to kind of understand the product, and to know that, like, if for whatever reason there are misses, because ultimately the world is not perfect, that we make sure that we know when and how much we need to pay, and that we kind of spend within our means, right? I think Arniel and Simon already kind of highlighted the major points, but I think from a just kind of like a mindset, right? I would rather be the driver of the bus in my own financial life. Anya, I'll kind of turn it over to you.
Well, yeah, I guess I agree with everyone and what everyone said. Really, the ease now is SMS, e-statement, but also to add, if your bank has internet banking, I would recommend to, register for internet banking, because that's, you can see how, and how your credit or your transactions are coming in, and you can monitor your transactions real time, and on a daily basis. So internet banking is also important to register to. So that's, it's ease in monitoring, really.
All right. So since we are doing everything cashless now, do take note also to register with online banking as well. Now, to cap off this Q&A, we will be reading the trivia answers that we've tackled earlier. So okay, we have the team now to flash the answers on the screen. Okay, so sino nga kaya yung will be taking home the vouchers and the birthday bundle for this 7th birthday? Okay, so for the first question, MoneyMax is actually celebrating its 7th year in the business with a total of 97 employees, and they started with just 10 employees in 2014. So the answer is 10 employees. Okay, now on to the next answer. The Instagram handle of MoneyMax is at moneymax.ph. Okay, and for the third trivia, on the MoneyMax website, you can compare car insurance, credit cards, and personal loans. Okay. And in 2018, MoneyMax gave away Toyota Vios for their 4th anniversary. Grabe, Toyota Vios. Okay, that is the right answer. And for the next question, in 7 years, more than 28 million people have visited the MoneyMax website. 28 million people. Okay. And the MoneyMax employees have been working from home for 15 months now. So correct answer is 15 months. Okay, and MoneyMax recently launched their newest social media account on TikTok. So their username is at MoneyMaxPH. I hope we can expect the team to also do a few dances there. Okay, so the answer is TikTok. Okay, now we will be announcing the winners for the trivia. Okay, so the winners are, congratulations to Erica Castillo Juan as the winner for the first question. And for the second winner, congratulations to JM Alvarez. Yon. Now we have our third winner, Christian J. Cesar. Congratulations, Christian. And then we also have Gideon Kalugan as our fourth winner. Congratulations, Gideon. Congratulations also to Aisuru Yoy. Ayan, okay. And then we also have Gregory Kaida. Congratulations, Gregory. We have one more, I believe. Okay. Ayun. So we have our last winner. Congratulations to Jam Alyssa Montajes. Now, congratulations to all the winners. And of course, we'd like to thank you to everyone for participating, especially to our speakers, of course, and our commenters. So we would love to hear some parting words from all of you, especially to our first timers, to those who are already credit card holders. What do you have to say for them? So we can start with Arniel, Anya, Simon, and then Greg and Munmun.
Okay, sure. So again, thank you, MoneyMax, for inviting me here. Happy birthday again, and I hope that we gave your viewers a lot of useful tips as they go through their credit card journey. So again, don't be afraid of owning a credit card. It's a great way to pay, and you get rewarded along the way. And just make sure to live within your means. And do check us out. We've got great welcome gifts for you, whether you are a first-time card holder or an existing card holder. Head on to the RCBC Bank Card website or our Facebook page. Thanks again, and have a good evening.
Thank you so much, Arniel. Now for Anya, any final words?
Thank you for having us. It's a pleasure to be here. It's our privilege that and an honor to be invited during your 7th birthday. Thanks, Munmun, Greg. We had fun, and again, don't fear owning a credit card. It's actually, you get a lot of privilege. You get to be able to, have flexibility. And really, it's just a matter of knowing your limits, and really the responsibility and the discipline around owning a credit card is important. So I hope we've provided some insights and some tips to be able to give you that level of comfort in owning a credit card. And thank you again for having me here. And have a good evening, everyone.
I love that. Definitely, we've learned so much from you, Anya. Simon, what are your last words to our viewers watching? Simon, you're on mute.
Okay, so thank you very much, Money Max, for having me. Happy birthday and happy anniversary. So, like Anya and Arniel mentioned, the credit card, it's a very, very strong tool towards financial flexibility. But of course, with great power comes great responsibility. As long as you're able to utilize that tool responsibly, then a credit card can be your greatest ally. It gives you so much more value than just using cash. And it'll also grow your credit profile, because very likely later in life, as you grow older and have bigger responsibilities, you will need other credit products like an auto loan, a housing loan. And with a good credit score, you'll be able to get those financial products also much easier if you handle your credit card responsibly. So again, thank you very much, Money Max. And apologies, it seems like my internet connection gave me a 5-second lag throughout the whole, session. So apologies for that, but thank you, Money Max, for having me.
That's all good as long as you were able to get your message across. So with great power comes with great responsibility. So Greg, do you have anything to say also to our audience watching?
Yeah, I think first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for carving out the time this evening to attend this event. I think in particular, Arniel, Simon, and Anya, definitely great to have you join us here. I mean, we definitely would love to do it again. Your insights are tremendously helpful, and I hope that our audience also is able to take away some learnings from the insights that you've shared. I don't have as great a quote here as the, great power comes great responsibility, but maybe I can quote G.I. Joe here and say that knowing is half the battle. A lot of us are afraid of things that we don't know, and really, our goal here with Money Max is try and kind of empower people to kind of gain more access to information, to better educate themselves so that they can make healthier financial decisions. So again, thank you for celebrating our 7th birthday with us. I mean, yeah, this is kind of the new modern that we're doing it here online. Hopefully in the years to come, we'll be able to see each other in person. I'll turn it over to you.
That's a great anecdote. It's like basically saying that if you want to combat that fear of owning a credit card, then you do it with knowledge, you do it with research and a proper assessment. Now, for Munmun, of course, what do you have to say to our audience here watching? Go ahead, Munmun.
I think all our panelists have summed up this discussion beautifully. I was reading all the comments. I read somebody said that credit card is not extra cash, and that's something that we should all remember. It's a very powerful digital tool for the digital times that we're living in, which gives us great flexibility. So yeah, on that note, I would like to thank Anya, Simon, and Arniel. Thank you so much for taking time to share these very valuable insights on credit cards. To all the viewers, thank you for joining this event, celebrating our birthday with us, participating in our games. I congratulate all the winners. I hope we were able to address some of the common questions that we set out to answer today. And if you have more questions, please visit our website, www.moneymax.ph. Stay connected with our social channels. And yeah, with that, I hope you enjoy your Friday evening and have a great weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to our speakers. I know Munmun seemed like she was saying goodbye, but actually, we do have one last announcement for our winners. Now, this is what everyone has been waiting for, actually. So, we do have winners for our bundle, and we have 7 winners who will receive a bundle worth 7,000 pesos each. Grabe. Okay, so sino kayo nanalo? All right, so we have 7 lucky winners. So for our first winner of the 7,000 peso voucher, we have Anna Sabile. Congratulations, Anna, for the 7,000 peso voucher. Ayun, congratulations. We also have Mabel Bolianos Atienza. Congratulations. And we also have Mon Gutierrez. Congratulations on the voucher. Congratulations also to Shaira Coles. Ayan, okay. We have a few more here. We have Joel Ryan D. Barsana. Congratulations on the voucher. And Renz Kimwell Brual. Congratulations. Okay, is that all the winners we have to? Okay, so we have one more. Joshua Juan, congratulations on the voucher. And our last winner, do we have a last winner? Okay, so Joshua is the last winner for tonight's event. Congratulations again to all the lucky winners who won the vouchers, and of course also to our winners earlier in the trivia portion. Well, there, everyone, you have it. That concludes our Money Max 7th birthday FB Live. Thank you again for making the time to join us here tonight. This has been your host, Antoinette Aquino. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great
Thank
evening.
you. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank
Happy
you.
weekend.
Happy
Do
weekend.
you know that you can compare financial products like car insurance, credit cards, and loans? Visit moneymax.ph and compare all of this for free. MoneyMax, helping Filipinos lead healthier financial lives.
Are you